think, Shaki, that the biggest advantage we have is actually what we perceive right now as our disadvantage, which is our size, our small size in particular, right? And the fact that globalization should really be our friend, in that it is globalization that will enable us to leapfrog, okay, a lot of the normal steps that we would have had to take towards sustainable development. And it is something which I guess there are not enough businesses looking at. Right? And so I think that we need to start from that. Start with the fact that, you know, small is not necessarily bad. Small means that how you're a little bit more nimble. Okay, where we are in our development is not necessarily bad. What it means is that, how, you know, we don't have some of the legacy challenges that the larger economies would have. So that is something which we could also take advantage of. The opportunities should be viewed as, I think, right, outward looking. Okay, so that, you know, we're not just looking to serve or achieve sustainable development by meeting local demands. Okay, we need to kind of think a little bit bigger. Yes, meet local demands, but also look outside. Okay, you talked about you know, there's I think there's a natural kind of spirit that the Caribbean has that might not be readily replicated outside of the Caribbean diaspora, let's say internationally. And that is something that we should also try and see how we could exploit, right, as best as possible. Because what you and I think Chris said this, you know, the world does not view itself, and rightly so, as owing the Caribbean anything. Okay, nobody is going to wake up one day and say, well, no, poor Caribbean, right? Let's give them whatever reparations that we think we need to give them, you know, based on what one of the university lecturers in Barbados thinks should be done. Okay, that's not going to happen unless you fight for it. Okay, and so if nobody owes you any favor, then you have to go outside and make it happen for yourself. Okay, so use the fact that you have a different kind of a spirit and a different kind of a vibe. Use the fact that how you're smaller, and so therefore you should be able to respond a little bit faster, right, to what is outside there. Use the fact that with globalization, you don't have to go through the same steps that other people went through to reach wherever they reach. We can learn from that. Okay, I would say those are some of the advantages that we have, and we just need to find, you know, where are those advantages best suited, right, for exploitation.
Great. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
That is a great point. This is also a learning experience for me as well. I just wanted some clarity on one thing that was just said. When you talk about using globalization to leapfrog steps, what steps are you referring to, and how would we use globalization to our advantage? Okay, so basically, if we look in all the developed countries and we look at where they are right now at their stage of development, okay, they got there, right, through various activities, and have reached the point in time where they realize that, for example, social media, right, and convenience, you know, is what everybody wants. Everybody wants now personalization. Okay, so all the stores that we have seen that were in the days when I was growing up, you know, that were the icons of commerce, the businesses that were the icons of their particular industry. Most of them have seen themselves now diminish to being considerably less than what they were. And some of them have seen themselves transformed from being what they were previously to what they now are, which are online providers of services. Okay? So we have seen the demise of people like Macy's and other stores that, certainly in my day when I was coming up, you know, those were like legends in commerce. People like Amazon, etc., have come and cut that out completely. All you really need is a warehouse. And then once you could connect with people online, you could provide them with a service. You don't need to do the big advertising. You're doing a big storefront. Okay, you've seen on the technology front that people such as Microsoft are challenging now, right?
are fighting to maintain their relevance in the software space and are moving into a different space. Okay? So we have a chance to see what has transpired. They reached that point having evolved. Okay, we don't have to go through that point. Okay, I mean, you made reference to WePay on a couple of occasions. WePay's value proposition is looking at the payments infrastructure. Okay? The payments infrastructure wasn't developed overnight. Okay, it started off with bartering, and then the banks kind of came in and were playing this role of intermediation, right? And now what WePay and other people are trying to do is disintermediate the banks. Take the payment space. Other people have seen where there's value in payment. There's value when you controlling, right? The way that somebody uses drop to acquire a service. There's value there. Okay? That didn't come up overnight because somebody weak. That's taking value from someone else. You know, that's what I'm saying. There's an evolution that many of these international businesses have gone through that we don't necessarily need to go through. That we could go from being nothing, right, to going into being a WePay, right? You could go from being nothing to providing some kind of a food-based solution, okay, which is done somewhere without having to have a restaurant, then have a takeaway service, then realize afterwards I don't really need a takeaway service. I can just let people do everything online and I deliver it to them rather than have somebody come by me to pick it up. So there's an evolution that businesses go through. And I'm just saying that I think, right, that globalization gives us a chance to see what that evolution is, and to decide that we don't need to go through that evolution. We can come at some end point.